normally call her a verb. You know, a verb is a doing word and an action word. But I'm transferring a verb, meaning that the action the governor is doing, she is complementing it to make sure that education has a new face. And we must, as a ministry, must have to confess that our mother is doing perfectly well. And the governor is giving her the, by the grace of God, the remaining 1 year will be hopeful, will be a year that she will perform with His Excellency and perform perfectly. And I want to tell you that there are a lot of things that she is doing that the time will not permit her even to say it on behalf of His Excellency.
Thank you so much.
Madam, I will look at her not as a politician, a technocrat, because she can't.
Thank you so much, Sebastian John, for your testimony. Thank you so joining the conversation. This morning, we want to take one more call before we start responding to the questions. Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Hello, good morning. You have 1 minute to have your say. Good morning, Mazi. Good morning, Mazi. You have 1 minute. All right.
Thank God for today. Thank God for the day. Thank God for our commissioner and what But what I want us to look at is this issue of the accreditation of courses in our higher institutions. Now, the government should know that as for today, that 70% of Nigerians going to higher institutions, 70% are trying to rate it now. Take it as a research, that's what I'm saying the government to know. So the government should try as much as possible. In as much as 70% of Nigerians pursuing courses into higher institutions are trying to rate it. That the government should do the needful that the primary school, secondary school, before getting to higher institutions where they don't do that, that they are properly equipped, properly trained lecturers, teachers to be there. The situation whereby we have people to come to do science courses and the facilities are not there, it will not help our economy. Every day we talk about the crisis, it's very, very disheartening. Plateau State as per se today, we have all it takes to name them type of criteria. But the storage, because all these things are seasonal at the end of the day, very, very expensive. Go to the market when you leave that studio, go and ask this small piece of tomatoes. They will tell you that 4,000 and 6,000, which is not because this will around later 1,000.
So, Maazi, thank you so much. Maazi, thank you so much. You had only 1 minute. Thank you so much for joining our conversation on Good Morning Plateau this morning. Good Morning Plateau has also been live on YouTube this morning and on Facebook. That is Plateau Radio Television Corporation official. That's our Facebook page, and we have some comments from our Facebook page. We have one from Audio Alanjong and Mark to Pete to you. And I pray that the Lord will give the governor the strength to continue doing his responsibilities. Ruang Amadu said, God bless you, Honorable Commissioner, for helping the state towards revamping the education sector. Sebastian Nadi is watching all the way from Anambra State. And there is another comment from Greater. I think he's speaking about state-owned tertiary institutions generally. He's saying the atmosphere is needs improvement, and all of us know that. In fact, you admitted it from Kano. And Nandam we have said, I understand that Government College Jos is the only state government boarding school in Jos Metropolis. He wants an addition to that. So many comments on Facebook this morning. But then our time is going. We need to begin addressing some of the issues raised by our listeners. Let's just summarize one of the questions. Infrastructure is important, but many experts argue that the quality depends on quality of education depends significantly on teachers. What steps has the ministry taken to improve teacher quality, teacher quantity, motivation, and capacity?
Thank you very much. I think the issue of teachers is very, very important when it comes to education. It's not only the number of teachers we are talking about, we are also talking of the quality of teachers. And I want to say that in the 3 years of office, we have had a lot of training and retraining of teachers to be able to update them on new developments in the education system. You may be aware that we have a new curriculum that was released by the Federal Ministry of Education. And for us to be able to have our teachers, we have been training them in batches to come to terms with this new curriculum so that they can implement it effectively. So a lot of teacher training, a lot of teacher continuous education is going on. A lot of programs are being organized by teachers, both by the ministry, by SUBEB, through the help of some international organizations like the World Bank, UNICEF, and so on. So there's continuous training of teachers. And you know also that with the developments now going on worldwide, ICT is the in thing. And we need our teachers to be computer literate. So we are deliberately developing our teachers to understand ICT and to be able to apply it in teaching and learning, because that's where the world is going on. Yes, I will admit, we have shortage of teachers in our schools. And we have done some recruitments, but that may not be enough. But the process is ongoing. SUBEB, which is an agency of the Ministry of Education, employed quite a number of teachers. HopeGov, we have a program called HopeGov, where we have a segment called Hope Edu, also gave us an opportunity to employ teachers. But most of this employment have been at the basic level of education. We have also had a lot of recruitments in the tertiary institutions. All the tertiary institutions have been able to do employment within the last 3 years. And some were even given opportunity to absorb their part-time staff that have been working for them for so many years. Those that were still relevant and still useful, His Excellency approved that they should be absorbed as lecturers in the university, and some even as administrative staff. And that has been done. So our tertiary institution can boast of improvement in the number and quality of teachers that we have in our tertiary institutions. When we come to the secondary level, we know most of the schools are depending on PTA teachers, just as one of the persons raised a question, that some of those PTA teachers have been there for years. And sometimes when the recruitment comes, because they don't know anybody, they are not employed. But we are going to look at the issue of PTA teachers who have been there in schools for so many years, and yet their plight has not been looked into. We are developing a proposal to His Excellency because we are thinking of recruiting teachers. And our priority will be on those PTA teachers that have served us for long. We want to give them an opportunity to smile. We will take them first before we will look at any other teacher in areas that we don't have staff. So we are going to look into their plight. Another problem that we have is that every teacher wants to work in the urban area. We are overstaffed with teachers in the urban area, and yet we don't have teachers in the rural areas. I discussed with His Excellency, and I told him to give me a free hand to do massive deployment of teachers to areas of need, because deployment should be based on areas of need. We need teachers in our rural schools, and we are going to deploy teachers to our rural schools. We don't want to do deployment in the middle of the session. But as we are closing for this session, by next session, our rural schools will not be complaining of teachers.
Thank you, Commissioner. We can go on and on and on. We wish to know whether the Moodfund administration's, that's the Moodfund Legacy Scholarship Scheme, is it a continuous thing or a one-off thing? But then our time has actually gone and we would need to stop here. Our conversation, we will pick up our conversation with you from this point next time. The executive producer of Good Morning Plateau is Rita Kacholong Pam, supervising producer Hudungyang and Esther Nasara, producers Inga Samuel. From the newsroom, Nain Rochina covered Good Morning Plateau, ICT Jerry Alkali, Cell Ball Simon. And we appreciate our listeners all the way from Anambra, Kanu, everywhere watching us live on YouTube. Keep being a part of Good Morning Plateau on behalf of the duty continuity announcer, the indefatigable Vina Adams. My name is Nandom Oswald Kumar. Join us tomorrow again on Good Morning Plateau as we continue exploring the intricacies